On every match day, I would receive this phone call from a certain BCCI official, and he would simply laugh on the phone and say, "Okay, now I'll call you later." So there were people who were totally opposed to the BCCI taking over women's cricket. I joined the BCCI in 2008, and 2006 was when the BCCI took over women's cricket in India. There were a few people in the board who did not want that to happen, but Mr. Pawar, Professor Shetty, they were all for it, and I think again we are seeing the benefits of what the move that they took in 2006, and the recent World Cup win is a testimony to that.
Sports personalities also have big egos, right? How do you manage that?
So when I was in the BCCI, for example, as media and corporate affairs manager, Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the captain of India. So we spent a lot of time together, especially when the Indian team was supposed to go on a tour. So we used to do the pre-departure press conferences. So we would interact a lot, and Dhoni is a very private person.
Yes.
But we had a good time. I don't recall any ego issues with Dhoni, or for that matter anybody else. Sachin, Rahul, Dravid, Anil, Kumble, they were all very good.
How does one go about if one wants to come and visit the museum and do the Wankhede walk?
So it's a 2.5 hour tour. What we have done at the museum is we have created India's first museum and stadium tour. So what happens is people they'll first get to see the entire cricket museum, which comprises different sections, and a lot of memorabilia gifted to the museum by Mumbai and India's greatest cricketers. So there are sections pertaining to the origins of the game of cricket itself, the early years of the Ranji Trophy. There is a women's cricket section. There is a quiz room, an audio-visual room. So all these sections are there. So you cover the museum for the first 75 minutes, and after that you proceed to the Wankhede Stadium, visiting certain areas of the Wankhede Stadium that normally you would not have access to. I don't really want to say much more on this, but I think it is best that the people come on this tour to figure things out.
There's a saying in cricket, if you want to know the health of English cricket, you look at how Yorkshire is doing. If you want to know the health of Australian cricket, you see how New South Wales is doing. If you want to see the health of Indian cricket, they always said, look at how Mumbai cricket is doing. Well, my guest today, when I first knew about him, I thought I'll call him and I'll be talking about the Mumbai Cricket Association, about Mumbai cricket and its legacy in Indian cricket. But I realize our gentleman today is a far more multifaceted personality. He is an alumni of the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. He's worked with two very prominent sports organizations. One, a pioneer in sports management in India, PMG. Another, he's worked for one of the most hallowed sporting bodies in India, that is the BCCI. He also is, in his present capacity, the curator of the very prestigious Mumbai Cricket Association Museum, named after Sharad Pawar, which is at the hallowed Wankhede Stadium. And he also conducts curated walks, heritage walks around the Wankhede Stadium, and has done that also with, which is so very unique, and which is very heartening to know. We've heard that about this happening at legacy stadiums like the New York Yankees, or at the Manchester United, but this happens here, and I'm told it's got a fabulous response. So without taking further time, and I'll dwell into his personality further, his work further. I have not completed everything, but let me welcome Devendra Prabhu Desai. Thank you so much, Devendra.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you for inviting me.
So, and to add to it, we're going to test your singing skills also.
Oh, sure.
This team is young there.
And do my best.
And I'm a novice at this, but you are far more seasoned at this. You also have a very popular channel called Baat Us Saal Ki, where you narrate fascinating stories, not only about cricket, but also about Indian films.
So that's a show I do for Radio Nasha, 91.9 FM, Mumbai's top retro radio station.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this show for Radio Nasha for the past year and a half.
Yes. So I really love even your Facebook posts, etc. The team is going to put up your social media handles. very, very informative. And you'll realize as we further converse as to why I say that. So how did this all begin, Devendra? If I could, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, but was cricket part of your life? Are you a Bombay boy, and was cricket always a part of your life? Did you play the sport, or how did you get interested with cricket?
Yeah, so for a Mumbai boy who was born in the 1970s and grew up in the 1980s, cricket was everything to me. And I think most boys of my generation, they wanted to bat like Sunil Gavaskar and bowl like Kapil Dev. And I was no exception. In my case, what happened is that when I was around 7 years old, a momentous event took place. India won the 1983 Cricket World Cup. And a few months after that, Sunil Gavaskar became the highest scorer in Test cricket, and he also the holder of the record for the highest number of centuries in Test cricket. So, in the space of 6 months, there was one momentous team achievement and a very significant individual achievement soon after. And my father, I blame my father for ensuring that I succumbed to cricket completely. He got two books. One was Sunny Days, the autobiography of Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, and the other was Idols, which was basically Mr. Gavaskar sketches written by Mr. Gavaskar on his favorite cricketers. And I read those two books. Reading had always been a passion for me ever since I can remember. I was lucky to be born in a family of avid readers. And I just fell in love with the game. I always liked to play it. But those two books made me dream about writing about the game as well, apart from playing the game, of course. So there was my maternal grandfather who told me stories from his youth, stories of Lala Amarnath and Vijay Hazare. And then these two books that I read when I was 7, 8 years old, and that changed my life completely. I wanted to become a cricketer. I wanted to bat like Sunil Gavaskar. I wanted to bowl like Kapil Dev. But talent-wise, I was not up to the mark, especially by Mumbai standards, because in Mumbai, if you want to make it big as a cricketer, even being outstanding is not adequate enough. You need to be better than outstanding. I tried very hard, but I couldn't get through the school team, couldn't get through my college team. I remember in college, the selection trials were there. I'm a student of Ruparel College,
Yes.
and I was doing very well. I was batting very well. And then there was this guy 1 year junior to me. His name was Ajit Agarkar. And we all knew that he has a great future ahead of him. For some reason, he had not been participating in the selection trials. He was already in the team. He was already a big star.
Yeah.
So I thought that, okay, he's just there. He's just around. But I don't know why he felt like bowling to me. And he ran in and bowled. And I did not see the ball. The next thing I knew is my middle stump has gone for a walk. And that is when I realized that this is another level. This is not for me. And then I was wishing, praying that maybe a day will come when I will get to be in cricket, maybe not play it, but maybe do something related to cricket. And I think I'm very lucky, very fortunate that I got to do that. The second best thing, as I call it,
Yes.
being a part of cricket without, and not playing the game, but still being a part of cricket.
Yeah. And I knew it. You've achieved so much that I'll miss out something in your introduction. You're also an author of 10 books on cricket,
Yes.
right? I could manage to read one at this point of time, but what a fascinating read. And that's what I say, we always get lucky. I wanted to talk to you only about Mumbai cricket, but there's more to you than that. You've written a definitive piece on Indian cricket. It's fascinating. But before that, your work, you college, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. I see it in your writing, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. I want you to tell me where, how that helped you shape the person that you are. But these two foremost sports institutions in India, Professional Management Group, probably the pioneer in sports management.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Mr. Sumit Shah over there, right? If you could tell us about Professional Management Group, your stint over there, and also the BCCI. Maybe BCCI will take it up, but Professional Management Group. What was it that we were exactly doing over there? And
So I did my post-graduation from TISS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, with a specialization in criminology and correctional administration. So absolutely nothing to do with cricket. I was working in the NGO sector for a couple of years.
They called you after the match fixing scandal.
No. The match fixing actually happened after I completed my course in my master's course at TISS. But I did my field work at the Arthur Road prison because my specialization was criminology and correctional administration. So I was doing fine. I thought, okay, that was a great dream of mine. Cricket didn't work out fine. Hota hai, dunia hai. You have to get on with your life. I just got married as well. And then in August 2000, July, August 2000, purely by chance, I met Mr. Sumedh Shah, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar's partner at Professional Management Group, India's first sports event management company. And PMG is a company about whom I had known about since childhood, because in the mid 80s, a professional management group used to do this television program
Oh, yes.
on Sunday mornings called Sunil Gavaskar Presents.
He was a fine presenter even then, right?
Yeah.
I remember the stories you would do.
Yes. And the great thing about Sunil Gavaskar Presents was that they would show highlights of important, historic, significant matches, test matches, and one-day internationals about whom we had only read about, and followed in the newspapers or followed in periodicals like Sports Star. So, because in those days there was only one television channel, that is Doordarshan, and Doordarshan would only do live telecast of matches that were played in India. When it came to overseas, they would show highlights, or sometimes they would not show the matches at all. So we would go back to the good old radio, for the commentary. So Sunil Gavaskar Presents brought us face to face with some matches that we had read a lot about, heard a lot about, like India's victory at the Oval against England in 1971, our first ever victory on English soil. The centenary test match of 1977 between Australia and England. The 1981 Botham's Ashes game at Headingley, Leeds. And that series had a big impact on me. So when I heard the name Sumedh Shah, I was like, oh, I've known him since childhood, because obviously when you watch your favorite television programs, you look at the credits and produced by Sumedh Shah. That was a very familiar name for me. So one of my uncles actually was Mr. Sumedh Shah's friend, and he told Mr. Sumedh Shah that I know this person. He's a cricket enthusiast. And my father told me, just go and meet Mr. Sumedh Shah, see what he has to say. So I just went to the PMG office, not knowing what was going to happen. And I met Mr. Shah, and we got talking. He started telling me about his childhood and his formative years and the cricket matches that he remembered watching or following on radio as a kid. And I told him that, the matches that you are telling me about, my grandfather had told me about those games. And I really didn't know where that conversation was heading. And then at one point, he looked at me, and what followed was a moment straight out of a Hindi film of the 70s and 80s, where he said, you know what, I was planning to put an ad in the newspapers, and the ad would read, if you think you have wasted your life eating, breathing, sleeping, drinking cricket, then this is the job for you. And then there was a dramatic pause, and then he said to me, I don't think I need to put that ad in the papers anymore. So that was how the job was offered to me. And as it turned out, I was very fond of writing. I mean, I love to read. So writing was the natural, logical progression of reading. And I jumped at that opportunity. Yes, it didn't align with my professional training, my master's degree. But I was like, if I have got an opportunity to work on my first love, who's going to miss it? And I was still in a daze, and then there was an empty chair next to his, and he pointed towards that chair, and he told me, he sits here. And I asked him, he who? He said, Sunil sits here. And Sunil Gavaskar, my all-time hero, someone whom I had always wanted to meet, and I was possibly getting an opportunity to work with him. And there was no way I could have said no. Then he told me, come back after 3 days, meet Mr. Gavaskar. And I could not sleep for the next 3 days.
Gavaskar was hands-on
yes,
at
yes.
PMG when you were...
Yes, absolutely. So I went 3 days later, no sleep for the last 72 hours. And I still remember entering, the PMG was a very tiny office, and there was a cabin inside that tiny office where both Mr. Shah and Mr. Gavaskar used to sit. And I remember entering that cabin, and Mr. Gavaskar, my hero, he had his back to me and he was writing something on his desk. and he just looked at me, and he said, "Hi, I am Sunil." And that was it. And he asked me a few questions. Why do you think the West Indies team is not doing as well as it used to do earlier? And I answered to the best of my abilities, and the job was mine. And I did a lot of content related work there. And it was a classic case of one thing leading to another, because it was PMG that really, if I'm sitting here in front of you today, it's because of PMG and the break that they gave me. Because of PMG, I met certain people who made me a writer. And because I was working in PMG, part of the cricket sector, I interacted with a lot of people, which is why and how I landed the job in BCCI. So everything that has happened in my life is a result of that opportunity that Mr. Shah and Mr. Gavaskar gave me in PMG.
He's a special personality, right? Sunil Gavaskar. 70s, when India was just about opening up, a young country. And the three names that I can think of, I was very fortunate. Before you, I did a podcast with Abhijit Kulkarni, who's written a definitive book on Indian badminton. And then he's had interactions with Prakash Padukone. So Prakash Padukone, Vijay Amritraj, and Sunil Gavaskar, the first modern global icons of Indian sport, you would say?
Yes, absolutely. And Mr. Gavaskar, I think I'm very proud of one particular line that I came up for him. I have written a lot. I have written his biography, of course, and I have written a lot of scripts on him. But I remember coming up with this line: "The man who taught Indian cricket to believe in itself." I think that I should not be saying this about my own line, but I think that pretty much sums it.
Yes.
If you want to look at the history of Indian cricket, it can be divided into Sunil Gavaskar BC and Sunil Gavaskar AD. He was the watershed, the definitive point.
Yes. We delve into your fascinating book, and sorry for digressing, but you write that, right? Before the first big superstar, you also mentioned when you write about Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi, and we'll cover him when we are doing the book. But yes, he's the first original superstar of Indian cricket. Right?
Absolutely. Before him, India did produce great cricketers, but someone who over a sustained period of time consistently did well abroad and broke world records. Set new ones. Yes. He was the first of his kind. And not just what he did as a cricketer, but also what he did in his post-cricketing days.
No, I'm pretty
revolutionary.
I'm pretty surprised to know that he was also pretty hands-on at the professional management group, which is the pioneer sports management company in India. I thought it was Mrs. Sumit Shah who ran the show, and Mr. Gavaskar was the figurehead. But
no, he was very hands-on. I mean, he used to travel a lot. So Mr. Shah would run the organization, but Mr. Gavaskar was always aware of what is going on, and whenever he was around, he would always be a part of every decision-making.
So a pioneer in more ways than one.
Absolutely.
So the BCCI, the dream job, right? I think you also joined at a time when they realized that just honorary positions are not enough. Cricket is growing in this country. They need professionals. You are part of that first team of professionals that now we see, with IPL, they naturally need more people. But you are part of the first team of people who are professionally employed by the BCCI as an organization. Earlier, it was people with passion and in honorary positions. And they needed these professional people. And that's where you see the BCCI grow. Because these people have also brought in. This is one of those foremost professionals over there. How is that as an organization?
The BCCI, unfortunately, tends to be in the news for all the wrong reasons. But as someone who has worked there for 7.5 years, I can tell you that no organization in this country runs the sport as brilliantly as the BCCI. And there is a lot that other organizations can learn from the BCCI. The passion that the senior office bearers have, and the passion that the staff, the managerial staff, the senior managers, assistant managers, everybody is totally committed to the job of running, promoting, developing the game of cricket in the country. And as I said, it always is in the news for all the wrong reasons. But I think people should look at the BCCI as an inspiration that they can learn from on how to discharge what has been designated to you. How to do your job, how to perform the duty that has been assigned to you, which is to run the game of cricket in this country.
It's a great amalgamation of office bearers in honorary positions and of professionals, which is
Yes,
making it the powerhouse that it is today, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
And it deserves the credit for it. Of course, most organizations will have their flaws, will have the criticism, but their achievements are 2000 plus odd domestic cricket matches is what they've done.
Absolutely. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It's a phenomenon.
More than 24 domestic tournaments, men, women, junior, senior, everything put together. More than 2,000 matches from the period of roughly September to March across the country, not just the metros, but in the interiors of the country. Not a single delay, logistics, operations, everything planned properly. The BCCI works very closely with the affiliated associations, the state associations. It's a great success story. And as I said, there's a lot that people can learn from the BCCI, provided they're open-minded to admit that, yes, we need to learn from them, especially those who run other sports in this country. There is a lot that they can learn from the BCCI.
There's a fascinating line you write in the book when I was reading the chapter about growth of cricket, right, in this country. And those founding members of the BCCI, the foresight that they had all those years back to remain autonomous, not depend on the Indian government. In the 50s, even you write there's an information broadcasting minister who wanted to ban,
of course,
commentary of cricket.
Yes.
Means today a government would fall if you try to do something.
But he was also forced to.
Yes, but when I talk to you about the history of Indian cricket, the father of this nation, his views on Indian cricket, but these founding fathers, you have to give credit to them for making it autonomous, because money was not always available over there, but they realized that foresight of keeping the government out of it in a way, right?
Absolutely, yes, they did.
And that's reaping benefits.
That's reaping benefits today. And over the years, there have been some stalwarts. You go all the way back to Shri Wankhede, then Raj Singh Dungarpur, Jagmohan Dalmia, absolutely outstanding. Mr. I.S. Bindra, who unfortunately passed away recently.
Yes.
Then in more recent times, Pawar Sahab,
yes,
absolute giant. I joined the BCCI when Pawar Sahab was the president. And I would like to tell you that all the things that are good about Indian cricket today in 2026, all the seeds were sown when first Mr. Dalmia and then Mr. Pawar were at the helm of affairs. So today, if we are in a situation where there is great infrastructure across the country, today if we are in a situation where we can say that, we can easily have two teams playing simultaneously and they'll do a good job, I think it is all because of what happened in the period from roughly 2005 to 2011-12. The A-team concept, India A-teams getting more opportunities, which enables the players to be absolutely seasoned by the time they graduate to playing for the senior Indian team. They are not overawed. The IPL, of course, something called the IPL. All that happened in the period from 2005 to 2011-12. So today, we are still reaping the benefits of the vision of the administrators of that time.
I was hearing Dilip Mansarkar on a podcast recently, and he said he was extremely instrumental in also women's cricket becoming a part of the fold. He played a huge role in also. And that's the sunrise sector in cricket, right?
I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
So when I joined the BCCI in 2008, and 2006 was when the BCCI took over women's cricket in India. There were a few people in the board who did not want that to happen, but Pawar Sahib was determined. He said, "Nothing doing. We have to take over." And I joined in January 2008. A few months later, the Indian women's team was touring England for a one-day series. And there was this board official, obviously I will not name him, but whenever, our girls, they were struggling because obviously they were going to take a while to catch up with the rest of the world, because the BCCI, of course, gave them access to great infrastructure, training facilities, professional physios, trainers, all that started happening. But obviously they were going to take time to, catch up with the rest of the world. So our girls were outplayed in that series in England. I think we lost 5-0. And on every match day, I would receive this phone call from from a certain BCCI official at around 10:30, 11 p.m. India time, because that was when the match in England would finish. And he would ask me, okay, so what happened today in today's game? And then I would tell him, look, we lost by 70 runs or 8 wickets or whatever. And he would simply laugh on the phone and say, okay, now I'll call you later. So there were people who were totally opposed to the BCCI taking over women's cricket. But Mr. Pawar, Professor Shetty, they were all for it. And I think, again, we are seeing the benefits of what the move that they took in 2006. And the recent World Cup win is a testimony to that.
Professor Ratnakar Shetty, you mentioned. What about him? What kind of a personality is? Pretty stalwart figure in Mumbai cricket, right?
Mumbai cricket and Indian cricket as well, an outstanding sports administrator. His popularity cut across all the factions, so to speak, of the board. Everybody loved him. The players respected him. And it was an absolute honor and pleasure to work under him, because he was very similar to both Mr. Shah and Mr. Gavaskar in a way that once he gave you a certain responsibility, he gave it to you because he knew you were capable of discharging that responsibility. And then he left it to you to figure things out. Not that he was oblivious, he was always in the loop, but the confidence that he gave you, to just do what you thought was best. It was amazing. And it was an absolute honor to work under him. I remember never feeling that I am doing a job. It was always like, okay, I'm pursuing a childhood passion and I'm getting a salary for pursuing a childhood passion. So it was an absolute great experience to work under him. We were always on the same wavelength. So I remember there were times when he would start saying something and I would complete it, or I would start saying something and he would complete it. So we had a great team. There was
he your reporting boss?
Yes, he was my reporting boss.
He was the CEO.
He was the chief administrative officer. So we were a team. There was Professor Shetty. There was Mr. Suru Nayak, former test cricketer, who was the manager operations. And there was me, the Devendra Prabhudesai, manager media relations and corporate affairs. So we were, the three of us, we were a great team. And it was an absolute pleasure to work under both of them.
How did you manage media relations for an organization like the BCCI, which is always under the scanner? You were probably the first.
I was the first. We created the media department. So
Yes.
Professor Shetty and I created the media department. There was no media department as such. What the BCCI had when I joined was some 30, 40 odd email IDs. So we started by creating a media database. So if something significant happens, if a media release has to be sent out, who do we send it to? So we created a media database, organizing press conferences, especially when the Indian team was to leave for an overseas series, or when a team from overseas came to India, the post-arrival press conference. So I used to coordinate with my counterpart from that particular country's board. I used to write the annual reports, work on the annual reports of the board. So it was, what I loved doing was working on the annual awards function of the BCCI, where my job was everything from organizing, planning to even executing. I used to be the master of ceremonies of the annual BCCI awards ceremony, the Oscars of Indian cricket. Yeah. So it was a great experience. But talking about media relations, yes, thankless job. When everything is going great, nobody really looks at you. But the media, yes, very, very tough to please. And there were episodes, but I think I was able to forge a great working relationship with at least 80% of the national media, I would say. I think over a period, even they realized that just as they had their compulsions, even I had my compulsions. So I did my best to be consistent throughout. So if there was something that I wanted, the board wanted the world to know,
it's a high pressure.
We would inform everybody. If there was something we did not want people to know, we would not inform anybody. So there were many people who would say, अभी ना अगर कुछ हो गया ना इंटरेस्टिंग तो सबसे पहले मेरे को बताने का, मुझे बताने का. I never did that. I never took sides. So I was both popular and unpopular. And there are some people, I'm still in touch with them. They often say that, we used to joke that Devendra Prabhudesai's second name was, I will get back to you. I will get back to you. I said, yeah, fair enough. But if there is something that my bosses don't want the world to know, that is what I'll say, right?
Yes.
I'm working for them, not for you.
Our producer was also at another organization, Rebel Cricket League, Indian Cricket League. She also used to have the standard line always. Whenever I used to develop condition, she said, let me first talk to them. I'll get vocation. But, joking apart, media communications is very important. We also address sports management students. For some of them, working as a media manager for a sports organization. Now the number of sports organizations are going up. We have number of IPL teams, maybe IPL as a separate media department now. Other sports are taking up league sports. I'd want you to address aspiring sports management students, even journalists wanting to get into the role of. It's almost like a corporate communications job, right? What are the skills needed, and what are the challenges that one faces when you're working for a high-profile organization like the BCCI? If you could, advise our aspiring students in this field.
Well, first and foremost, you need to love your job. You need to have a passion for, so in the case of cricket, if you're working for, say, an IPL team or a cricket association, you need to love that game, love cricket. And you need to be very consistent, as I said. You have to, the same rules have to apply to everybody. You cannot differentiate. And most importantly, you should be able to think on your feet. You need to be able to improvise. And that is something that you will pick up as you go along. It's okay to get things wrong once in a while. Everybody gets things wrong and nobody expects you to be absolutely perfect at the start of a stint. So just be patient, know your subject very well, have complete clarity, and do what you think is right. And of course, keep your superiors always in the loop.
True. Sports personalities also have big egos, right? How do you manage that? How do you manage that as a sports communication person?
I think the thing with sports personalities, and especially those whom I interacted. So I interacted with the Sachin Tendulkar era, his contemporaries. What I realized about them is that if they initially, of course, they are a little guarded.
Yes.
They don't want to give too much away. Because I used to interact with them when I was at PMG, when we had events happening. I used to interact with them. But once they figure out that this guy is a professional like we are, if I am a professional cricketer, he's a professional media guy or a communications guy. So just as we are trying to do our job to the best of our ability, he's doing the same thing. And he is not going to take undue advantage of his proximity to us. Once they realize that, then they are totally different people. Then they will open up to you, they will be informal, and it will be a very good working relationship. So I did not come across any situation where there was an ego issue. Because I think they all realize that just as I am doing a certain job, he is also doing a job. So when I was in the BCCI, for example, as media and corporate affairs manager, Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the captain of India. So we spent a lot of time together, especially when the Indian team was supposed to go on a tour. So we used to do the pre-departure press conferences. So we would interact a lot. And Dhoni is a very private person. Yes. But we had a good time. I don't recall any ego issues with Dhoni or for that matter, anybody else. Sachin, Rahul, Dravid, Lakshman, Virender Sehwag, Anil, Kumble, they were all very good.
Social media is a different animal altogether, right? Now they are all involved with the social media also.
Yes.
Does an organization like BCCI give thought to it that young players, they need media training, and are they taking your expertise in this field to train players? I know there's another area where you train players, and we'll get to that topic soon. But is media training important for the modern day cricketer?
I think it is. And the rise of social media happened actually after I moved on from the BCCI in 2015.
Okay.
But I'm sure people at the board are doing that. Yeah. And the cricketers are also social media savvy. In fact, every cricketer today has a complete team of managers and PR and social media managers. So I don't think there is...
But when they're under an umbrella, when they're playing for the BCCI, I think the onus also is on the BCCI.
Yes, and I'm sure they're trading there. I'm sure they are. Because there's a team now in the board as well managing that. So I'm sure that is being taken care of.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great two organizations you work with. Means not envy, but I think you deserve it, because when I read your book, this fascinating thing that you do. Great sports organizations have created these legacy structures like a museum. You run one of the most hallowed museums, rightly created by the BCCI. I don't know the exact year.
MCA.
Yeah. Sorry. It's MCA, but it's at the hallowed Wankhede Stadium.
Yes.
Right? you've also been in an advisory capacity with Madhya Pradesh Cricket Association, which did a similar thing. Uh, how did this come about, and what is the kind of work that you do there? And of course, offline, you told me that all of your heritage walks, this curated walks that take place as part of the museum in the Wankhede Stadium, are all sold out. Uh, Fascinating area of work. How did this originate? How did this means? I've only heard about this happening, when people go international and they go to the Manchester United, or you see it in Hollywood movies of the New York Yankees, or and also Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh did it first, and then MCA did it.
It was happening simultaneously, but there's a clear cut difference.
Okay.
MPCA Indore, there is a museum, but what sets Mumbai Cricket Association apart is that there is a museum which is centric to Mumbai cricket, and it is also combined with a stadium tour, which is unique as of now in India.
And I tell my viewers that you are the present head curator of the MCA museum,
Yes,
named after Mr. Sharad Pawar.
yes,
correct.
yes.
How does one go about if one wants to, come and visit the museum and do the Wankhede walk?
Yes,
Which I'm sure every cricket fan would want to do. And you say that they come from across the country. You also
Absolutely.
receive requests from dignitaries from the government, etc. And you have to curate these walks for them too.
Yeah, yes.
How did this come about? What is this area of work, and what can one expect? When one comes to the MCA museum.
Yes. So this idea of having a cricket museum at the Wankhede Stadium had been there for many years. And again, Shri Sharad Pawar Saheb was, he was at the forefront of it. He wanted it to be done. But due to certain reasons, it got delayed. And today, the Mumbai Cricket Association has a very proactive president, Shri Ajinkya Naik. And he played a major role in this museum becoming a reality. And I am just lucky that they gave me this opportunity, Mr. Naik and his team at MCA. They gave me the opportunity to curate content for this cricket museum. The museum was inaugurated in August 2025. And what we have done at the museum is we have created India's first museum and stadium tour. So what happens is people they'll first get to see the entire cricket museum, which comprises different sections, and a lot of memorabilia gifted to the museum by Mumbai and India's greatest cricketers. So there are sections pertaining to the origins of the game of cricket itself, the early years of the Ranji Trophy, then the three all-time greats of Mumbai and Indian cricket, Sunil Gavaskar, Dilip Vengsarkar, Sachin Tendulkar. There is a women's cricket section. There is a Ranji Trophy section. There is a quiz room, an audio-visual room. So all these sections are there. So it's a 2.5 hour tour, museum and stadium tour, where you first cover the museum for about 75 minutes.
And this is within the Wankhede premises,
yes,
right?
So you cover the museum for the first 75 minutes, and after that you proceed to the Wankhede Stadium, where again you spend about 75 minutes visiting certain areas of the Wankhede Stadium that normally you would not have access to. I don't really want to say much more on this, but I think it is best that the people come on this tour to figure things out. To take the tour, what you need to do is have the district app on your phone, download it on your phone, and then go to MCA Museum and Stadium Tour, and then check out the available slots and dates and book a slot. And that's it. And then you can
So you can do this completely online.
It is completely online.
Suppose you're sitting in Baroda, or suppose you're sitting in Goa, or suppose you're sitting in Chennai. You can come and do that. Right? Of course, you can book it online, and then on your visit to Bombay, you can.
And we do 5 tours every day. Each tour we take only 20 people. Because we want to give more prominence to quality than quantity. Yes. And when there are 20 people, then the guide can interact with all the members in this group of 20. So we have a team of managers, guides that works under me, and we do these tours every day, 6 days a week. Museum followed by the Wankhede Stadium.
It must be Have other cricket associations also approached you for something like this?
I'm sure. I mean, I think the history of Indian cricket is so rich that I think a lot of museums are waiting to be created and curated. And I'm sure many associations are going to be inspired by what the Mumbai Cricket Association has done, thanks to Pawar Sahab and Shri Ajinkya Naik.
So earlier you also had a stint where you used to do a heritage walk.
Yes.
Another organization, right? Which moved around the hallowed Oval Maidan, the Brabant Stadium, Wankhede, and fascinating.
So that was also India's first cricket heritage walk.
Excellent.
Which started at Bombay Gymkhana, Azad Maidan, and we would cover Cross Maidan, Oval Maidan, then the Brabant Stadium, but all from outside, then Marine Drive, and finally the main entrance of the Wankhede Stadium. So this museum and stadium tour at the Wankhede Stadium is, I would say, it's a logical progression of that heritage walk.
That's Mumbai cricket also, right? Which I read from your book. So probably somebody of your and my vintage were around the same age. Touching 50. But if you were born in Bombay, even your grandfather knew what cricket was, which is not very common for other parts. That's why I think the cricket culture is so rich in this city.
Yes.
That brings me to your book, Running Between the Wickets. It's a definitive piece on the history of Indian cricket. Devendra, there's also a singer in you. Your favorite cricketers? If you had to dedicate a song to them, Sunil Gavaskar, what would it be?
या दुनियेमध्ये थांबायला वेळ कोणाला, या दुनियेमध्ये थांबायला वेळ कोणाला, हे जीवन म्हणजे क्रिकेट राजा हुकला तो संपला.
Sachin Tendulkar?
Sachin Tendulkar would be, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best.